I'm doing is legal. This is why I believe I'll receive justice in the higher court.
Hit more to right center than the left. Oh, it is good! He did it! He did it!
It doesn't matter what your background is and where you come from. If you have dreams and you have goals, and that's all that really matters.
But there's only one Usain Bolt.
I owe, a lot to Charlie.
The freedom of expression that the entire world could see.
When you black, it's not a movement. It's a lifestyle. This is who we are. When you're growing up and you're seeing Michael Jordan, it's almost like a god. MJ made the game global. He made the game global. He made people all over the world want to watch the game of basketball because of his marketability, because of the way he played the game of basketball.
Obviously, everybody knows him, his hang time, his free throw line dunks, just his, man, it's nothing more that you can say about MJ, it's crazy.
MJ, everybody knows he's the GOAT, and he's the greatest of all time.
There is a reason you call somebody the Michael Jordan of. And they know what you're talking about. Because Michael Jordan is the Michael Jordan of greatness. He is the definition of somebody so good at what they do that everybody recognizes it. That's pretty rare.
Everyone recognizes it, all right. There's no debate about the greatness of his airness. 5 times NBA MVP, 6 NBA championships, and 6 finals MVPs in each of those title wins. 10 times the NBA champion scorer, and 9 times in the NBA all-defensive team. And even those statistics can't describe his athleticism, his power, speed, and artistry. As the guys from Gatorade put it, every kid growing up in the 80s and 90s wanted to be like Mike.
If I could be like Mike.
Everyone wanted to be like Mike. Just ask the only player who's ever come remotely close to comparisons. LeBron James might have scored more points, but when he passed Jordan on the all-time list, his rare humility said it all.
Wanted to be like MJ, wanted to shoot fadeaways like MJ, wanted to stick my tongue out on dunks like MJ, wanted to wear my sneakers like MJ. I wanted kids to look up to me at some point like MJ.
Yeah, Jordan's mark of inspiration is all over the NBA. His legacy, well, that's a little more complicated.
When he was 5 years old, Michael Jordan nearly cut off his big toe with an axe. Back then, his handles needed a little work. But think, if things had gone differently, Air Jordans might never have taken flight. I mean, you don't want to buy a shoe with like one toe missing. We may never have seen him switch hands in midair against the Lakers, or drop 63 in the Garden, or gut it out in the flu game, or hit the shot 3 different times over Georgetown, over Elo, over Russell. We might not have seen him take on Larry Bird in horse, or lift up the sport globally along with the Dream Team. Yet MJ is still more than those moments, more than just the best player on the two greatest teams of all time, the Dream Team and the 1996 Chicago Bulls. He's more than just a logo, more than just an internet meme. It's more than just a charitable donor or a business owner committed to diversity.
Former President Obama knows his sport. Perhaps the only thing he knows better than sport is politics. Which is why, during his Presidential Medal of Freedom speech in 2016, he politely avoided reference to one of the most famous and controversial statements made by Michael Jordan. Republicans buy sneakers too, Jordan said in a reference to his refusal to publicly endorse Black North Carolina Democrat Harvey Gantt in the 1990 Senate elections. He maintains the comment was merely a joke, made inside the confines of a teen bus, and that he supported Gantt financially, if not publicly. And Obama, who describes Gantt as an early inspiration in his political career, no longer has a problem with what MJ said. But Jordan has been frequently condemned as selfish for an apolitical remark made in an era when the Rodney King beating put police brutality and racial intolerance firmly in the social conscience. He was put at the top of a list of athletes seen to be selfishly unwilling to risk earning potential by alienating buyers of the products he endorsed. That earning potential was greater than the sporting world had ever known. In 2020, Forbes reported that Jordan's net worth had topped $2 billion US. Though they have since reported he slipped below that figure in a post-pandemic market. He's the richest athlete to walk the planet. Hard to believe now, but when Bulls rookie Jordan signed with Nike in 1984, the brand was struggling. In his second season, MJ slipped on a pair of Air Jordans and not only turned Nike into a juggernaut, but changed the way all aspiring young stars and all their managers in all mainstream sports market their talents. With every new deal he signed came extra millions. Let's face it, Republicans drink Gatorade and drive Chevys too.
Here we go, ready, and action.
Make the logo bigger.
Social activists may have felt let down by Jordan's silence, but he was certainly not the only sports star of the era conditioned to neutrality, just the highest profile. He was born into a middle-class family and raised in Wilmington, North Carolina. And although he didn't fit the profile of many of the great African-American basketballers who honed their skills on the courts of crowded city suburbs, his newfound wealth was doubtless a head spinner. Jordan tried to give some insight into life before stardom in The Last Dance, the acclaimed series which focuses on the Chicago Bulls' drama-packed run to the 1997-98 NBA championship, the last in their 2 three-peats, built largely around his might. Named after Phil Jackson's slogan for that final campaign, it features pioneering archival footage from an NBA entertainment crew who followed the Bulls throughout that season, backed by extensive present-day interviews. In the 1998 finals, Jordan, age 35, averaged 33.5 points per game to carry the Bulls to a 4-2 series win over the Utah Jazz and win his 6th Finals MVP. His match-winning shot in Game 6 in enemy territory at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City served as his farewell to the Bulls. With Jordan retired almost 20 years, the series was a wonderful reminder to those who had missed his brilliance, and a revelation of his talent and charisma for a whole new generation of youngsters. And by the time it had screened, Jordan had grown into a very different campaigner for social change in America than the guy who had been selling all those sneakers. In 2016, with the Black Lives Matter movement raging over the number of police shootings of African Americans, Jordan spoke out, donating $1 million each to the Institute for Community Police Relations and the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. One statement from his social media posts made headlines: "I can no longer stay silent." Then, in 2020, following the George Floyd murder and the worldwide spread of the BLM movement through sport, he stepped it up a notch, announcing a donation of $100 million over 10 years to organizations dedicated to ensuring racial equality, social justice, and greater access to education. But as important as the money were the words. The Jordan brand is us, the Black community. Black lives matter. This isn't a controversial statement. Michael Jordan arrived a little late on the social justice stage. But bundle all of the MJ story together: his charisma, the inspiration he provided, and the message he now sends. And no one has done more to encourage young children to play sport and to aspire to be the best they can, to strive to be like Mike.
My message to the kids is, it's okay to dream.
When Eliud Kipchoge became the first man to run a marathon in under 2 hours in 2019, he was wearing a pair of carbon fiber-infused Nike Alpha Fly shoes. You have to wonder what Abebe Bikila would have thought of that. 59 years earlier, at the Rome Olympic Games, Ethiopian Bikila earned a gold medal when he completed the marathon, 42 kilometers and 195 meters in 2 hours, 15 minutes, and 17 seconds, in bare feet. Bikila's performance, taking 0.8 of a second off the previous fastest ever marathon, came to the bewilderment of the world and to the joy of his people. The inspiration he gave would change forever the makeup of marathon fields around the world. Long-distance running today now dominated by runners from the continent of Africa. One of the most powerful, Bikila's Ethiopia.
Some of them think that this is a way out of poverty. This is like a job, and a person gets out of poverty through hard work. And most understand by working hard they will get out of poverty through athletics. In general, this is the case.
When I run, I think about winning. I have a vision that what I win today will help me in the future. That's what I think while running.
Ethiopia has won a total of 55 medals in the history of the Olympic Games. Every single one has been in long-distance athletics. Abebe Bikila's goal in Rome the first. Of the nation's 23 gold medals, 6 have been in the marathon, 6 in the 5,000 meters, and 11 in the 10,000 meters. So it's not hard to understand the depth of gratitude Ethiopia feels for its pioneer. Bikila, born on a farm in the highlands of Ethiopia in 1932, was 20 when he joined the Imperial Guard Infantry, a Swedish coach employed by the Ethiopian government to train the Imperial Guard, noticed his long-distance talent and began preparing him for marathons. Sometimes he wore shoes, but sometimes he trained in bare feet. When he won the Armed Forces Championship and the Olympic trials in 1960, he wore shoes. But he made a rookie error in Rome by buying new running shoes, and they gave him blisters. So when he lined up for the marathon, he ran on his heart and the soles of his feet. He was not only the first Ethiopian to win Olympic gold, he was the first black athlete to win the Olympic marathon. The reception waiting for him back home in Addis Ababa made him the second most famous man in Ethiopia. The most famous, Emperor Haile Selassie, awarded him the Star of Ethiopia and presented him with a Volkswagen Beetle motorcar. The Beetle came with a chauffeur because Bikila could not drive, but he could run. At the Tokyo Olympics in 1964, he again won gold in the marathon, beating his Rome time by more than 3 minutes. And this time, he wore shoes, finishing so strongly that he immediately did some calisthenics to warm down. He was the first Olympian to win back-to-back marathons. And Emperor Selassie this time gave him a house and a new Volkswagen Beetle without chauffeur, since Bikila could now drive. His Tokyo win made him a hero in Japan, too, and he returned a year later to win another marathon. He tried for Olympic win number 3 at Mexico City in 1968, but suffered a stress fracture a few weeks before the Games and failed to finish. But his influence was already taking effect. The winner that day was his Ethiopian teammate, Mamo Wolde. Ever since, a steady stream of world-class performers have kept the medal tally ticking over, including Air Force Captain Mirich Yifter, known as Yifter the Shifter for his ability to up the pace mid-race. A young Yifter took bronze in the 10,000 meters at Munich 1972, missed 1976 because of the African boycott, before sealing double gold in the 5,000 and 10,000 at Moscow 1980. Haile Gebrselassie, born in 1973, ran 10 kilometers to school every day, dreaming of emulating Bikila, Wolde, and Yifter. He took 10,000 meters Olympic gold at Atlanta in 1996 and Sydney in 2000, before going on to a stellar road career, winning 9 international marathons. Kenenisa Bikila won the 10,000 in Athens 2004 and took silver in the 5,000 before completing the double in Beijing, as well as 5 world championships and 2 Berlin marathons. As for Abebe Bikila, his story took a tragic twist. In 1969, he lost control of his Volkswagen Beetle, crashed, and could never walk again. Less than a year later, he began training for wheelchair competitions and competed in archery and table tennis, meeting Queen Elizabeth at the Stoke Mandeville Wheelchair Games in London, a forerunner to today's Paralympic Games. Bikila suffered a cerebral hemorrhage attributed to his car accident and died at the age of 41. 65,000 people attended his state funeral, including Emperor Selassie. the Abebe Bikila Stadium in Addis Ababa honors his memory. His barefoot run to glory, the inspiration for the modern army of Ethiopian distance runners.
LA Lakers legend Irvin Magic Johnson could be the best all-round basketball player ever. He had a point guard's playmaking skills and remains the only NBA player with a career average over 11 assists per game. But he also had the size to play any position, even center, like when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was injured in the 1980 finals. Magic led the Lakers to the title anyway. That was the first of 5 championships and 3 finals MVP awards. He was also league MVP 3 times and a 12-time All-Star. And his Showtime Lakers helped take the NBA to new heights.
Abebe Bikila's 2 Olympic marathon gold medals opened the eyes of the world to the benefits of high-altitude training for long-distance runners. His legacy is felt throughout Ethiopia, but nowhere stronger than the tiny highlands town of Bikoji, 3 hours' drive from Addis Ababa. Known as the town of runners, it's from here that 19 Olympic medals have been won, 10 of them gold. Plus, more than 30 world championships and a string of world records. All under the guidance of school teacher turned athletics coach Sintiyehu Ishitu, at one time running daily training sessions for an army of up to 300 runners.
The reason Bikoji is different from other places is that the environment is really tough to train in compared to other places. And the food in the day-to-day diet here is mostly barley and wheat bread. The athletes also train hard.
Ishetu's first protege was Deratu Tulu, the first black woman to win the 10,000 meters at Barcelona in 1992, repeating the feat in Sydney 8 years later before running 3rd in Athens. Tulu's cousins are the Dababa sisters, Ejigahu, Tiranish, and Genzebi. The eldest, Ejigahu, won silver behind Tulu in Barcelona. But Tiranish is the most successful Ethiopian of all, winning the 5,000 and 10,000 meters in Beijing 2008, the 10,000 again in London. With 3 bronze medals, she has 6 podium finishes from her 4 Olympics. The youngest sister, Genzebi, has a silver in the 1,500 meters from Rio, the 8th runner from Bikoji to stand the podium. All those runners from Bikoji, every other medalist from Ethiopia, indeed every long-distance runner from Kenya, Uganda, South Africa, Morocco, and other African nations have drawn their inspiration from a time when the Western world scoffed at one man lining up in Rome to run a marathon in bare feet. A time when tenacity trumped technology.